Hi everybody, thank you for your love, your patience and your good wishes. I'm really feeling better than I have in a very, very long time. I think the forced vacation really did wonders for me. Okay, but this morning I woke up to the very same news as you, I guess, namely that Harry and Meghan are moving back to the United Kingdom. Now, I'll be very honest with you, and maybe it is the tiny bit of a spiteful streak in me, but I feel totally vindicated, and I'm sure so does the likes of Richard Eden. And I wonder how Mr. the professional journalist who moves in those circles and who called me a wannabe feel today. Do you feel a little used, perhaps, having fallen for the stories you were willfully fed by the palace? I almost feel sorry for you. If it wasn't for the angry insult the other day, I would have felt sorry for you. Anyway, guys, we have far more important stuff to talk about today, and it is going to take a while because I've prepared a completely different video for today, and I had to start all over. Okay, so let's start with one of my least favorite royal reporters as an introduction to the rest of the video. Now, I apologize to those of you who may like her. I indeed did like her until about 2 or 3 years ago. Now I do not have much time or patience with Camilla Tominey, and usually avoid her like the plague. I mean, if you don't like someone, there's no need to, bash them or talk ill about them. Just do not listen to them. But this time there was a clip on Instagram while I was, scrolling this morning. Now, in the clip, she talks about Meghan taking one for the team, coming back to the United Kingdom because Harry is so unhappy and the children need to be positioned just right, educated just right in order to be considered royal, to be in the royal fold, blah, 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 blah. A load of hogwash, if ever I heard hogwash. Now take it from me right now, right here, and straight out, before we get into any detail whatsoever. Harry and Meghan are returning to Britain because they have no choice. No choice, none. They are in deep, huge, tremendous trouble, financially and otherwise. And the only way they can stay relatively safe from prosecution is to come hide behind the hem of Charles's kilt. Done. There, I said it. Now we can decide whether you listen further or not. You can decide whether you side with Camilla Tominey on this or whether you are willing to accept the information I am about to share with you. Now let's start with the most benign spot of bother. Meghan has huge debts with regards to as ever. A source told me, but I could obviously not verify it. But she said Meghan is in debt or has debts related to as ever to the amount of $24 million, and she is facing increasing pressure to cover those huge bills. According to another source, Harry has admitted to a friend and confidant that both the money he inherited from Diana as well as the 20 to 21 million he received for Spare, had been spent. Again, I cannot verify this, but I know who the source is in real life, and in my opinion, it is thus likely true. Now, please note, for legal reasons, I am clearly distinguishing between what I can and cannot verify. You can then go make up your own mind or do your own research, okay? Moving on. Netflix demoted them to a first look deal, and they first looked at Cookie Queens and said, no thank you. Spotify dumped them, and the CEO called them a couple of grifters and is likely still laughing about Harry thinking he can interview Putin about his childhood. Now, we've also not heard anything about another book from either of them, so their 4-book deal with Penguin has likely also burned in the dumpster fire, nor have we heard anything about Lemonada or Better Up. Not only are they now getting 50,000 or less for speaking engagement, where initially they commanded about 500,000, but these speaking engagements are actually, in reality and truthfully, drying up. Now, none of this is a lie or even gossip. It is the verifiable truth. So we are totally within our right to assume they have no to very little income at the moment. But what they definitely do have are property taxes, state taxes, federal taxes, estate maintenance, utilities, insurance, health, homeowners and auto insurance, school tuition, lawyers' fees, private security costs, which is allegedly approximately $3 million per year. And then, of course, food, clothing, day-to-day expenses. Now, we know that Harry losing his case against A&L will afford him a minimum of about £10 million as his share of the cost. And I'm told he has not even paid costs for a previous case yet. Costs of, according to my information, approximately £2 million British pounds. Then they also allegedly have 2 mortgages. Now, one for the house in Montecito and one for the property in Portugal. Now, whether that is 100% factual, I'm not sure. I have my ideas about this, but we'll do finer detail in another video. Otherwise, this one will become far too long. But let's say it is true, then how on earth are they meeting all their obligations without any income? It honestly does not matter what they had, okay? They no longer have it, and there is very little coming in. Now, until not too long ago, Harry and Meghan had 15 employees. Now, they only have 4. They had to let 11 go. Now, I sincerely doubt they would have done so if they were flush and had money. So I think there is absolutely no doubt that their lack of money and the debt they are in, and as we know, debt equals trouble, so the financial troubles are one of the main reasons why they are indeed running back to Britain. I think we're quite spot on, truthful, without exaggerating too much, to assume that that is one of the reasons. Okay, now moving on to the slightly more nefarious. I sometimes despair when I see and hear how people misread or misunderstand news articles. According to some people, creators, Harry's visa woes are over because Homeland Security did not release Harry's visa documents as expected end of July, beginning of August. No, no. That is not true. Far from it. Harry is actually in real trouble now. Let me explain. The Heritage Foundation sued the Department of Homeland Security in 2024, claiming Americans have a right to know about Harry's past drug use. The case was thrown out after a judge ruled in 2024 that Harry's right to privacy was more important than the public interest in his records. On appeal, Judge Carl Nichols, who ruled against Heritage Foundation in the first place, decided in its favor in 2025, ordering Homeland Security to release a redacted version of the application. Well, we saw what they released. All you could basically read was Harry's name and date of birth. So Heritage Foundation sued again in 2025, but this time they did not sue Homeland Security. They sued the United States State Department. So when the time came, the United States State Department advised that they need more time because they kept, out of I don't know how many, 18 specific documents related to Harry's visa and are reviewing, listen to this, hundreds, multiple of hundreds more in this particular case. So guys, what this means is that for the first time, someone is really looking at whatever is in those hundreds of papers. And guys, I've completed visa documents before, and I still have a file full, and I'll gladly go count the pages to prove a point. But I can promise you it was not hundreds and hundreds of pages. I'm going to guess 30 or 40, including the required bank statements. So what does this mean? Again, please, I cannot verify. But I understand from a friend of one of my children who is an immigration agent that it means one of a few things. It is likely that they, the United States State Department, and Homeland Security, has, since 2020, received reports, complaints, information, letters, who knows what, with regards to this case, and or Harry's conduct, his drug use, or whatever. Something came in from elsewhere, and they are now only investigating, looking into it. Now, who knows? Maybe American citizens wrote to the United States State Department and complained about Harry and Meghan interfering in United States politics or speaking out against the president. Both, are currently using substances. Forget about past use. We do not know what those hundreds of pages contain, and we will likely never know. But I have a sneaky suspicion what at least some of it contains. I further suspect that Harry was given a choice. Leave, voluntary, and we keep this secret, or we won't have a choice but to release it, and then we cannot guarantee the final outcome. Guys, I can't promise you this is true, but if I put two and two together, this is indeed, if I take all the bits and pieces, this one saying this and that one saying that, and I put it all together, then I think this is what's happening. I think they've reached a point where the court has already ruled that they have to release some of these documents. And they have no choice. Okay? The court hasn't turned around and said, no, you don't have to anymore. Okay? So I think they've given Harry a choice. Leave, and then there's no reason anymore to release it. You're not in the country anymore, so we'll keep it back and keep it secret. If you don't leave, we have to release it because you are still in the country and the court has already ruled. So I think that is why, or another one of the reasons why it is happening so quickly. But folks, there's one more thing. And I need to warn you, it's even more nefarious than this. And I'm busy formulating it in such a way as to, number one, adhere to YouTube's guidelines. And number two, to not get sued for maybe defamation or libel or, whatever. Now, the other reason why I need to stop this video now is because I still do not have a laptop. So I'm also sharing an old slowpoke with my daughter, and she also has work to do, labels to print and so on. So my videos unfortunately cannot be too long at this point, at least for now. I'll be back with part 2, where I will discuss this final matter with you. Very sensitive matter, so maybe it's also a good thing that I take a bit of time to think it over even more. Okay, so I also want to quickly mention to my members that I have not forgotten about you. I have your video very nearly ready. Once this particular video is done, I'll finish up yours for early tomorrow morning. I think that you will not regret waiting for it at all. Okay, guys and gals, that is it from me for now. Please take good care of yourselves, stay vigilant, and stay safe. Bye.